children using extreme profanity. That's what most people have an issue with.
Which is the funniest part of the whole thing, which is the point they're trying to make.
Part of the film. And if that is your issue, then this is not the film for you.
No.
You're back.
Welcome to Cinematics Problematics, where we celebrate your guilty pleasures. I'm Chrissy Reddick.
And I am Erin Maxwell.
And today we're discussing Trey Parker's 1999 animated musical South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Anyone familiar with the popular Comedy Central show knows that creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone leave no group unoffended in their edgy animated show that has now been on for 28 seasons. Only this time, their bigger and longer foray into film takes a satirical shot at the misplaced blame parents put on vulgarity in film, represented here by the Terrence and Phillip classic Asses of Fire, where they fart on people and sing catchy tunes about uncle fucking. After Stan, Kyle, Cartman, and Kenny see the film, Terrence and Phillip's influence spreads like wildfire to the kids of South Park, causing Stan's overbearing mom Sheila to launch into a crusade to blame Canada, coordinate an execution of Terrence and Phillip, and launch a full-scale war against their northern neighbors to protect the children. Along the way, writers Parker, Stone, and Pam Brady pull no punches as they attack Americans' love of censorship by making fun of Jews, blacks, gays, making Satan and Saddam Hussein gay, lighting farts on fire, homeless people, disabled people, the mysterious clitoris, midgets, warfare, Brooke Shields, Winona Ryder, the Baldwin brothers, Brian Boitano, women's periods, concentration camps, French resistance fighters, and probably the most egregious, Canadians. But all of it is set to some of the catchiest musical numbers of any film musical in recent memory, so the whole thing winds up being pretty super. Thanks for asking. The film stars Trey Parker, Matt Stone, Mary Kay Bergman, Isaac Hayes, Brett Spiner, Minnie Driver, and George Clooney, and has a runtime of 1 hour and 21 minutes. Erin, please tell me about the first time you saw this movie.
Chrissy, I'm just going to applaud you right there. That was so well done. So well done. So well done. Kudos.
Thank
Kudos to you.
Thank
Polite
you.
golf clap in your general direction.
Thank you very much.
I saw this in the theater and I was eagerly anticipating it as I had seen the short, The Spirit of Christmas, as part of the Mike and Spike Animated Film Festival several years earlier. I was a big fan of Matt and Trey's work. I had seen several of their shorts in these animated film festivals. I knew what it was. I had then followed them to South Park and had been watching South Park somewhat religiously and could not wait until this film. So I was very much looking forward to it. And at the time I was working at the Paley Center, I believe. And I went with everybody that I worked with after work one day, and we all went to go see it en masse and had a joyous time. And it is just a lovely story of everything working out.
So what was your reaction the first time you saw it?
Oh, no, I thought it was great. We laughed our asses off. We thought it was amazing. We thought it was really funny. South Park was still a little shocking back then, I guess. But for me, the most shocking parts were the realistic penis that Saddam Hussein had.
And he was still alive, I think, too, at the time.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. But it was just good old time at the movies. It was a bunch of uppity 20-year-olds just having a fabulous time.
Yeah. I had a similar experience. So at the time that it came out, like I had tried to get like on the South Park train a bit, like as a show. And I remember like there was a period of time where I would watch it like every week. And I remember just being kind of like, I had to stop watching it because it just came off as like super negative. Like sometimes I'd like walk away just feeling kind of crappy. Like there were parts of it that are incredibly funny, but there are other parts where I was just kind of like exhausted by just like how they just pummel everybody. Like they just make fun of everyone and like nobody is off limits, which is part of the point, you know, and I guess I respect them for that. But I remember seeing the trailer and I was just like, okay, that looks like it's actually going to be pretty funny. I'd heard it was a musical, so I was like, okay, I got to go see it. And I was seeing everything at the time, so it wasn't really like a hard decision just to go to the theater to see it. And to this day, it is probably the one movie where I have never seen people laugh that hard in a movie theater. Like, it was just constant laughter. People were crying. They were laughing so hard. You missed half the movie because people were just like laughing at everything. And like, it was just one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. Like, I was doubled over with laughter. I mean, mainly because it was so shocking, but because instead of it feeling negative for the first time, it felt kind of like joyful and fun because it's a musical and the songs are really upbeat and they're great. Like, the songs are really, really freaking good. It felt like you're like at an actual musical. And so because the songs were so catchy and clever, and because like nobody's off limits for them, I had a great time watching it. And it's still probably one of my favorite comedies to date.
I do not feel as strongly about it. I don't have any ill will towards this,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel badly about it. Like, I don't think it's bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's great. It's just not what I would call a favorite. And it's
Oh.
just because for no reason. I just don't, it's not something I come back to all the time. It makes me chuckle, but it doesn't make me laugh out loud all the time. Not by
Uh-huh.
any stretch. I think I'm dead inside, is what the issue is. I think it's definitely a me issue and not
Uh-huh.
a them issue.
Okay.
I think that I have watched so much South Park. I have watched so much bizarre, dark humor in my life that it really takes a lot to make me guffaw.
Okay.
So it is very difficult to get that kind of response out of me. So I really now have to get my humor off kilter. So it's more like the Miami connections out there that like make me laugh really hard and
Mm-hmm.
the Twilights of the world.
The things that like Twilight, the things that are unintentionally funny.
Yeah, yeah, I have to dig deep for those laughs. Um not that this isn't funny. This is a very, very funny movie. Fun things about this film. I just wanted to go into a little bit of a history of it because it's been a minute since anybody kind of talked about this film. For those of you who don't know, this film, everything about South Park has, if you want to find a source for it, who's to blame? It is absolutely George Clooney. George Clooney is 100% to blame. Trey Parker and Matt Stone made The Spirit of Christmas. They handmade it. In 1995, it was also known as Jesus versus Santa. It was a little animated short. Fox executive named Brian Gardner got a copy of it and sent it out as a holiday card to his industry friends, including George Clooney. George Clooney fell in love with it, and he personally duplicated it and mailed roughly about 300 VHS copies to his own private celebrity network.
Uh-huh.
And it became a massive pre-internet underground sensation.
Oh.
And that got it into film festivals. And because of this, we now get to watch Brooke Shields getting slapped after telling stories about farting. Um,
On the Set of the Blue Lagoon, another film that we
right,
have
on the
dissected
set
on
of the
this
Blue Lagoon.
podcast.
And also now, because of that, occasionally George Clooney comes back either as a gay dog named Sparky or as a doctor that replaces Kenny's heart with a potato. And so that's just a short history of this film,
Well, okay.
or of South Park in general.
Another tidbit that is actually quite interesting is kind of like the fight that they had with the MPAA about this film too, because the MPAA, they wanted to rate it NC-17 when it first came
Right.
out. And they had an aversion to, I think, like the original title was All Hell Breaks Loose, and they like had a problem with that, so they changed the title to Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and they didn't have a
Which
problem
is
with it.
far
But
more healthier.
this just goes to show like how like out of touch maybe the MPAA can be, at least back then. I don't know what their status is right now. So apparently, like the limit for profanity or vulgarity is 400 words, and this comes in at 399, just under the limit. And apparently, like they were going to get like their NC-17 rating, and then they went to one of the producers, like one of the like bigwigs at the studio or something, and the guy called the MPAA, and they had the rating changed. And so they didn't change any content in the film, like none of it. Like it just took a phone call to change it to an R-rated film. And I think that it's still like the most successful, maybe the most successful R-rated cartoon animated film.
Oscar nominated. Oscar
Oscar
nominated.
nominated. I will never forget the Robin Williams performance of Blame Canada
Yes.
at the Oscars. That
At
was
the
inspired.
Oscars. And Matt and Trey went to the Oscars supposedly on acid. or they claimed wearing the exact dresses that Jennifer Lopez and Gwyneth Paltrow wore.
I cannot imagine. That sounds absolutely terrible. Going to the Oscars on acid, that sounds like just a living nightmare. But I praise them for their ambition in the fashion department and with their mental state during a televised ceremony. So bravo to them, I guess.
I think on paper it sounded like a good idea, and then once you get there in a halter dress, you
Yeah.
realize what a bad idea this is.
Yeah, but I mean, also very much on brand too. I mean,
Right.
so I mean, and memorable apparently. I mean, and speaking of memorable, like one thing I do want to call out is like when this film came out, like I immediately bought the soundtrack and played it on repeat for weeks and weeks. And I haven't seen this film in God, I don't even remember the last time I watched this film. It was probably like on video or something, like when it first came out or something, but I have not watched it since. And I still remember all the songs. Like I was singing along to this film.
Well,
And
all the songs are structured to be Disney songs.
yes.
They're upbeat, and the way that they are delivered is exactly the same way that Disney songs are delivered.
Yeah.
Like, here's the setup song, like the
Hmm.
mountain song is the setup song,
It's like Beauty
and
and the
then they have
Beast.
the I Want song,
Hmm.
and that's the up there song. So
Hmm.
it's all done that, and then they have the fight song or the villain song, and
Hmm.
that, yeah. So it's all done like a Disney musical.
Yeah. No, and they completely succeeded. They just nailed it.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm thankful it was like only like an hour and 21 minutes because I don't know like how much more you can pack into in how much more offense you can pack into a film like this. But yeah, I mean it moves along at a clip. It's something you can sing along to, and it is incredibly funny. Like the jokes come out like a million miles an hour. So, but obviously we would not be having this conversation if the film did not have some offensive elements, as like the South Park show does. But I think that like one of the things that we do here is that we kind of like we go back and we say like, is this something that would resonate today, or for somebody who had never seen a South Park episode? Like if somebody had never seen a South Park episode, like what would they think of this film? And I think that if you don't have the context around what they do, what Matt Stone and Trey Parker do, then you could mistake this for probably like the most offensive film ever made, but it would be missing the broader point. And the film is making a very, very meta point about censorship
It
by
is.
offending everybody. Yes.
And there are people out there who work for several publications. And, before every single show, I do my due diligence
Mm-hmm.
where I look up what people are saying online. I watch TikTok, I watch YouTube, and I just look for people who are kvetching,
Mm-hmm.
which is Yiddish for bitching,
Uh-huh.
about whatever they want to find about this movie. And it's not all positive. Sometimes they take to, pen to paper. Some of it they do make a strong point. But again, it's a strong point only if you are completely unfamiliar and remove yourself from the South Park world.
Right. Right.
So,
Because they're
that
still doing
being
the same stuff.
said, shall we dive into the problems?
Yes, please kick us off.
So, the biggest one is dun 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 dun. It is super offensive. But how is it offensive? So, a lot of people just saying it's offensive, it's offensive, it's offensive. I had to break this down
Oh, of
because,
course.
of course.
There's
So,
many
we are going to
levels.
start with the one that so I put this in order of my personal issues.
Sure. Sure.
So, the first one is the amount of homophobic slurs that were
Yes.
used. The
Yes.
movie repeatedly uses terms like the F word as
Yep.
insults, which are intended satirically. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But many modern viewers have tended to argue that the casual use of those slurs has not aged well.
Hmm. I mean,
So,
I think that's fair. A lot of the movies that we kind of like go over on this
yeah,
podcast are from a different time, like where that word, was used like a lot more ubiquitously. Like I think that, we've done like a lot of 80s films. It was everywhere. That was just like part of the language. And I think that here, I mean, it is a different era. Like this is like, almost 20 years past the 80s and they still use it. And you have like little kids saying it, you know?
right.
You have little kids put into these positions like where they're using all this vulgarity, like especially like homophobic slurs and stuff. I mean, So there's the F word, but there's also just kind of like this pervasive kind of like gayness as being the butt of many jokes throughout the entire film. It's not just like the use of the F word. It's just kind of like, oh, like gay is like an insult. Gay is meant to be kind of like a source of humor. Like just being a homosexual is supposed to be fine. I mean, look at like Satan and Saddam Hussein. You know, they're gay lovers. You know. And it's like taking Saddam Hussein and making him, who was living at the time, and putting him into the situation is equally shocking, but also is kind of like digging in a little bit more into kind of like this conceit that homosexuality is like inherently funny throughout the
Yeah.
entire film.
It does save itself in a little bit, maybe not so much in the movie, but definitely in the TV show, where with the character of Big Gay Al.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the name doesn't save him. But he does one of the more sympathetic and heroic characters of the show.
See,
So,
there you go.
yeah. But although, yeah.
Mm.
So, next issue that I found was racial stereotypes and slurs. The
Sure.
film includes jokes involving Black characters, Jewish stereotypes, particularly directed at Kyle, blackface imagery, and racial slurs. Common sense media specifically flags these portrayals as problematic by today's standards.
Okay.
Not the 100% the greatest source to go to, but I had to pull from anywhere I could. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, like, if we zero in on kind of like all the Jewish jokes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
which is something that Cartman always like kind of, he's always kind of like egging Kyle on about that, right? It's like, oh, because you're a Jew, he's like saying stuff like that. But
Right.
whenever Cartman's doing it, it's like the term Jew itself is meant to be a bad thing. It's not like he goes into stereotypes about it. The stereotypes come with Sheila, right? With Kyle's mother.
And though he's not really seen very much in this movie, like Kyle's father as well. I don't know if he's seen it all in this movie now that I'm remembering it.
I don't think he's in this movie. Is he?
Yeah. I think he's seen briefly, but I don't think he has a role. But his father also is like very much like he's got the curls and he's just very stereotypical in the way
Gotcha.
he looks.
Yeah, but like with Sheila, I feel like
Yeah.
it's like they're playing into like this, classic cliche, the stereotype of kind of like the overbearing, kind of like shrill Jewish mother, overprotective and everything. And Sheila's kind of like a constant like throughout the series, and like she's like, I guess, the antagonist, if you will, in the film, that is like overreacting and creating a group called MAC, Mothers Against Canada, and planning wars. And she's the Secretary of Defense, and like she's just blaming everybody but herself and like the other parents for their kids like cursing up a storm. So yes, there is definitely a lot of offense against the Jewish population in this film.
My kind of hot take, well, it's not even a hot take. My take on it is this. They do it a lot, especially on the show. There is a while after a while where it starts to bother me just a little bit, only because I feel like Matt Stone, because I believe he's Jewish, is doing the thing. Well, I get to say it because I'm Jewish, which I'm not cool with.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh man, you're not that Jewish.
Well, I mean, and this goes back to like, kind of like what I was saying in the beginning. Like before the movie came out, I had seen some South Park, but it's exhausting. It could be like exhausting with like
Yeah.
how negative it can be. You know what I mean? It's like, I get
Yeah.
it. You
And
don't
it
like, I
just,
get it. He's gay. I get it. Like he's Jewish. I get it. Like Black people are like this. I get it. You hate Jennifer Lopez. It's like, yeah, I got it. And so I couldn't watch it like every single week just because it kind of brought me down a bit because they're hammering the same
right.
subjects
And
over and over and
watching
over again.
Sheila consistently be such a ball buster on the show, because like watching her raise hell every time there's a Christmas tree, every time there wants to be something secular or anything like that, is just kind of exhausting. And I'm like, yeah, you're kind of not doing us any favors here.
Right. Yeah.
That
No, for
being
sure.
said, in the context of this movie, it doesn't really bother me too much. It's fine. It's just on for comedy. I don't give a shit.
Okay. With the Black people, it's interesting because there there were a couple of instances like that are kind of shocking. I mean, like one of them is like a split second, but there's this one clip like where Terrence and Phillip like make a rap song and all like their backup dancers are like scantily clad Black women or Black cartoons, I guess. And then, like, when the war during the USO show and, like, the commanders, like, saying what what tactics they're going to take, it's like all the black soldiers are segregated in the audience. And he said, okay, Battalion 5's going up first. You are Operation Human Shield. And the next battalion is Operation Get Behind the Darkie. It's so bad. But, I mean, but it's speaking to a truth, though, right? It's speaking to, I mean, and this is like part of like what is kind of like about it, because this is one of the critiques of war and of like kind of like the draft, which they also have in this film too. But it like usually draws, you know, poor communities, like, you know, underrepresented communities that don't have as much opportunity, and they are sent to the front lines. And while white soldiers get a pass, or maybe don't have to enlist at all, and they are protected. And it's like, it's very, like, that is an actual truth and a really, really unfortunate and sad part of war. And they are just going for it. Like, they are straight up making fun of it. So while it's offensive, it's like, it is, they're doing what they do best here. It's like where they're speaking to like a bigger point that's much more important, that this is ludicrous. Like, the whole reason we're going to war is ludicrous, and the way that we treat certain people is completely unequal in the process.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they kind of get away with it by making that bigger point. Next,
the sexist depiction of women.
Okay, let's go for it.
Female characters, especially mothers, one mother in particular, are frequently portrayed as hysterical, overbearing, and villainous. Sheila Broflovsky becomes the face of censorship, and women are regularly referred to as through misogynistic insults.
Yeah, like why are the moms so crazy? It's like they're probably on their periods or something.
Yes. That would be it.
Also, the Kyle's Mom is a Bitch song.
Yes.
Which is, oh my God, so catchy. It's so great. But
also,
yes.
like how Cartman talks to Wendy most of the time.
Well, you mean the way that he pukes on her repeatedly?
No, Cartman.
Oh, Cartman. I thought you were talking, okay. No, Cartman
no.
is just offensive to everybody. He's kind of like the outlet for anything offensive that needs to be said on the show.
Right.
And Cartman's mom is kind of a slut. At least it's like implied that, because she was caught in that German porn.
Yeah, but I'm very sex positive, so I'm like, you do you. You do you, Mrs. Cartman.
Okay, what about the Winona Ryder ping pong ball trick?
I'm sex positive. You do you, Winona Ryder.
I was like, what do they have against Winona Ryder? And why is she doing a ping pong? Okay, by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this one, but the ping pong ball trick in question involves Winona Ryder going on stage and being kind of vapid until she decides to entertain with a ping pong ball trick where she sits down, spreads her legs, and then ejects ping pong balls out of her vagina into the audience.
I love Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Very Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Oh my God, that's exactly what I thought about when I saw that. See, I totally forgot about that scene, by the way. I totally forgot about it. Anything else about women that we want to discuss?
No, that's it. Those are the highlights. That's all we get. That's all we get. So,
and none of like the main characters are women either, so they're kind of just like side characters, whatever, and like they're there for
like
jokes.
Basically just their side characters, and what we get is just satire, which is you know, it's fine.
Which is fine, which is what they do. Yeah. Okay.
So this one is technically I could have started the list with these two, but it seems so obvious to me. But I'm just gonna throw them in the middle of the list.
Just throw them in.
Whatever. So, children using extreme profanity, which is truly what makes South Park South Park.
Yes.
That is the crux of the funny, is that you have what is supposed to be 8 or 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds maybe. It's hard to get a gauge on age.
I think they're supposed to be 8.
Using extremely profane language.
Yes.
Which is why it's so funny.
Yes.
You know, the film uses the word fuck over 100 times and other explicit language. That just the fuck word over 100 times from one single character.
And you're forgetting about such classics as shit-faced cockmaster.
No, I'm not forgetting it.
Or ass-ramming uncle fuckers. Or how would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Garrison? Or sorry, there's just so many.
And
Uh,
they're good. No, I only put it on the list because that's what most people have an issue with,
which is the whole. This is the funniest part of the whole thing, which is the
which
point
is
they're
the
trying to
funniest part
make.
of the film. And if that is your issue, then this is not the film for you.
No, this is like the entire point they're trying to make. I mean, it's like it's an animated movie about kids watching an R-rated animated movie and learning all their curse words from it, and then just like going around and saying them like all the time. And I mean, it's brilliant.
It's
It's
a
like,
very real scenario. Listen, when I was 8 years old,
oh,
my mom took me to go see The Last Unicorn or some bullshit
oh,
movie
the
like
last
that.
unicorn. Oh,
Right. So it was me and my sister and my cousins Maya and Mija, and we all went to go see the whatever cartoon, and it was sold out, or we didn't make the movie, or something was gone. So we ended up going to go see DC Cab.
okay.
And we could not get my little cousin Mija to stop saying chicken shit motherfucker for the rest of his natural life. He was
Oh man.
5.
You know what? You know what's so funny though? I mean, but to the point of like this film is kind of like saying parents are never like looking inward at like their own parenting and what they can do to like make their children not say these words. Like they're always saying it's the media, it's all these external forces that are influencing it. It's partially true for sure, right? But we both grew up watching like totally inappropriate stuff. Like we grew up watching all sorts of R-rated stuff, all sorts of violent stuff, all sorts of sexual stuff. Like I watched movies like where people were cursing up and down all the time, but I didn't do it because I was afraid that of what would happen if I dropped like an F-bomb in front of my parents. I was afraid I'd be like
Right.
fucking beheaded. Like I still remember the first time the F-bomb slipped out in front of my mom. I was 17. I'll never forget it. And I remember I was stricken with fucking terror the first time I said it in front of her. And she was fine. I was like more affected by it than she was. She was just like, oh, whatever. Like she didn't care. I think it was because I was 17 and not like 8. But if I had been 8, that would have been a different story. But there is something to that. I think that like me being scared of like what would happen and like sassing my parents or like disrespecting my parents, I was afraid what would happen. So there is something to the whole like, you know, if you're parented right, maybe you don't say those words no matter what you're
Said
watching, but I don't know.
said by a woman that clearly never had sisters.
I didn't have 2 brothers. I have 2 brothers.
Yeah. Have a sister around your same age, that F word comes out quick.
Oh man, I'm sure. I'm sure. Oh
You
man.
get really creative with your cussing.
But yeah, I mean, you have kids in this film talking about dicks splitting in half. It is like literally like some of the most shocking language that even adults could say. And you have like
Right.
these little kids saying it, and you know, like the whole thing is like it's begging you to censor them. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are just like, please censor. Like, look, what if we said this? What if this kid said this? What if we made fun of this group of people? What if we made fun of this other group of people? And seeing like what the reaction would be. It's like daring you to prove its point, you know, which is
Right.
why it's so brilliant. So, anyways, yes, kids are behaving very badly in this film, and they're even put into situations where they're trying to find the clitoris.
Sure.
Which he eventually finds after an hour,
Yes.
which is probably like the most realistic part of the whole film. Sorry.
Except for the fact that it's found by an 8-year-old.
Except for the fact that it's found by an 8-year-old. See? So hard to talk about this film. But yeah.
The next problem we have is actually an issue that was pointed out by a large amount of people, including like several New York Times articles.
Mm-hmm.
And this is more of an issue about South Park as a whole that a lot of people seem to have. And it has to deal with their concept of being equal opportunity offensive with
Okay.
everybody. About like, we're not going to just insult you, we're insulting everybody.
Yep.
We're not insulting Republicans, we're insulting Republicans and liberals. We're
Yep.
insulting absolutely everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the concept that Trey Parker and Matt Stone have defended their approach by joking about everyone is being equally offended, but modern critics have then argued that offending everyone doesn't eliminate the impact of the jokes aimed at marginalizing groups.
Okay.
So if you're going to make fun of one group, but the concept of, well, we're going to get this other group later,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't lessen the impact
Hmm.
of what you're doing to that one group now because you promised that you're going to tag them back
Hmm.
later on.
Right. What do you think about that argument?
Um, I do feel that the problem is that if you equal opportunity offensive is like if you're funny, you're funny and you don't really need to justify it. You could
Mm-hmm.
just be funny. And if that's your brand of humor, that's your brand of humor. You don't have to defend it to anybody. You could just be funny. That's the way comedians work.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I do have an issue where they seem to keep going back to the well of like one or two things
Mm-hmm.
and they just keep hammering on it. And it's not that that's a huge issue for me. It's just that I don't know, I get a little tired of it and it
Mm-hmm.
becomes a little bit much for me
Yeah.
to the point where it seems like they're picking on something.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally get that. And once again, like that's why I did not watch the show regularly, but I think that's also why the movie hit the way that it did for me is because I don't watch the show all the time. Like there had been some space between like when I had stopped watching and when the movie came out. I do think that being equal opportunity is better than just picking on one or two things only over and over and over
Right.
again. I think that there's something to kind of like the conversation about the idea of punching down. Does it seem like you're punching down on somebody? You know what I mean? And like when you're punching down on everybody, it kind of seems like you're not punching down, as it were. But like to your point, there are certain topics or groups that get punched down on more than others over the course of time.
Right. Like I'm not a Mormon. But
Neither
I
am
feel
I.
bad for Mormons at this point.
Right. And it's hard to know if they're punching down or not. Like, I don't know how Matt Stone and Trey Parker feel about themselves, right? Like humor is just very tricky. It's very tricky because it depends on kind of like who you are, how you deliver the message, your timing, how you talk about yourself, and like how you present yourself. Like all of that plays into like whether something is funny or not. I think that's like if you look at like the contrast between like two comedians like Dave Chappelle, right? Who talks about like how rich he is and how much influence he has and stuff. And then he starts making fun of trans people. It's just kind of like, dude, it feels punching down because he
Right.
feels like he is above a lot of us. I mean, he still, has, times like where he's been very funny, but when he goes after certain groups after saying like how rich he is, it's kind of just like, ugh. But you take like a Louis C.K. who thinks he's like a piece of shit. And he feels like a piece of shit because he talks about what a piece of shit he is and like how disgusting he is and like how old and sick and terrible he is. And I'm not, by the way, like I'm not sick, like giving Louis C.K. a pass or anything. But the reason he has been able to pull that stuff off in the past is because it doesn't seem like he's punching down because he thinks he's a piece of shit. And that makes a big difference. And so it's kind of hard to tell if they think everybody's terrible or if they think that they have to go after everybody, if they think that everybody's ridiculous, if they think that they're equally ridiculous along with everybody else. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint it. So it's hard to say whether or not they're trying to be malicious or not
Yeah.
because we don't have that context.
It's difficult to tell. I'm not a big fan of punching down already marginalized groups.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the world is already punching down on them.
Right. Yeah.
Not to say that South Park is doing that, especially in this movie, and I don't think that they are in this
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that South Park as a whole, the idea that of we're equal opportunity offenders,
Mm-hmm.
that concept can get a little tiresome.
Sure. I mean, they've been on for 28 seasons, so.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same thing. I mean, during the point in time that we're in our country, I mean, I kind of do appreciate that they're around
Yeah,
because
no, yeah.
they've got
Yeah.
some really fresh material to go after, and it's amazing. Like, please go after JD Vance and Christine Ohm and, Trump as much as you want. I will watch that all freaking day. But a lot of times, to your point, it's like the material does not seem fresh. Right. It seems kind of like retread of like the same kind of stuff like that. And for groups that have already been beaten to a pulp by their humor.
And now we have my very last and final problem,
Okay.
which is it has to deal with the nature of the satire.
Okay.
And this one was, I wrote it down and it's taken me a while to kind of figure out what was going on here
Mm-hmm.
because it was brought up twice and it was pulled from a discussion on Reddit.
Ooh.
So basically, what it was a recurring criticism that the film's Say Anything approach can often make it difficult to distinguish whether it's mocking prejudice or simply repeating it.
Okay.
So others are arguing that the ambiguity is precisely what makes the satire effective.
Mm-hmm.
But this debate over that balance has been continuing now for about 25 years. And is it a balance?
Mm-hmm.
Does this work?
Mm-hmm.
And I personally thinks it works, but apparently some people, especially people watching the movie with fresh eyes, do not think that.
That makes sense.
I don't know who those people are, and I don't think they should be watching South Park.
Mm-hmm. No. Oh
But
God, no.
it was enough for me to jot it down.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's what I meant by like not having like the context around like what's going on in like Trey Parker and Matt Stone's brains necessarily. You know, it's like
Right.
it's possible that they are just giant homophobic racists who just are looking for an outlet. I don't know, but if you were just like to watch this movie on its own and have a sick and twisted sense of humor, as you and I both do, you would see this and you would say, okay, they're kind of like going after everybody. Like nobody's off limits here. And so that's fine. But I think it's, once again, I think it's like the cumulative effect too of it just being so pervasive that makes it hard to make that distinction that you're talking about, like whether it's like they're just repeating it or if they're truly mocking it. And a lot of times it doesn't seem like they're just mocking. I mean, like a lot of like Cartman's Jew jokes, it's just like they're just kind of like thrown in there, right? And like he's not
Right.
talking about anything specific about Judaism or about stuff like that. He's just being like, sorry, I don't have any Jewish candy. It's like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? It's like just the word itself
No,
is meant to
no.
be an
And
insult.
he even, when he's feeling sad about his insults, he even says, I'm sorry I called you a Jew. And he's like, I am a Jew. Like,
Yeah. And then he says, yeah, don't be so hard on yourself.
yeah.
Like it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop,
Yeah.
to your point, and I think that's like one of the biggest questions I think for this film is kind of like, okay, so if it was released today, would people even get it? Like if we had not seen South Park ever and this movie just fucking came out, what would the reception be today? Like would people get it? Would people understand it? I think that there is a certain contingent of people that would still get it, but I don't think that they would have nearly as much success with it today as they did in 99. I think that people had become desensitized to it by the time the movie came out, and I think that helped it out a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know if there would be need for another South Park movie right now because very rarely, unless they're making fun of Trump, is South Park in the conversation.
I would welcome a new South Park movie if it had to do with Trump.
Yeah,
I
not to
just
say
think I
that
just think
we
it would be
wouldn't
brilliant.
welcome a South Park movie that took aim at Trump, but I'm just saying that, like, yeah.
And I mean, it's like that
Or
would be
politics
perfect
in
timing.
general.
Or politics in general, yeah. I mean, especially today, right? Politics back in 99 were completely different than they are today. It like wasn't nearly as divisive.
No.
So, and like we still had Bill Clinton as a president, you know?
Yeah.
And like we hadn't even gotten G-dubs yet. So, it was definitely a different time. There was like a different level of integrity within our government on both sides, quite honestly. And I think today, I mean, it is just like, my God, what fresh material they would have.
This was a
There's just so
time when
much.
you can still meet your loved ones at the gate at the airport.
Yes. Oh my God, right. Oh, I miss that. I remember that. But yeah, like I think that if you were to like release this film today and nobody had any context around South Park as a show, it would be a tough sell for most people because I think that there's kind of, obviously like there's a renewed focus on what things are offensive and on respecting marginalized groups and things like that. And this would be like an insanely shocking film if it came out today. I still think it makes an excellent point. I still think like the overall themes and like the overall moral that it's trying to tell us is completely valid, right? Like there is like a ton of hypocrisy, like in terms of the things that we think are appropriate or inappropriate for children. It's like bodies exploding is fine, but saying the F word is bad. And I
Right.
think that that is well taken, and it's kind of like delivered to us via like some of like one of the most offensive scripts probably in history, if you ignore the fact that they've been doing this for decades at this point. So the fact that South Park had been on helps it get away with it, but it also resulted in kind of like the effect that you were talking about, where it's just kind of like just slamming you over the head with like the same jokes over and over and over again, and like just berating the same people over and over and over again. I think the thing that also makes them get away with it this time is the fact that it is a musical, and it is just way more upbeat and feels less negative than one of their episodes, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're songs that you want to like sing along to. At least I do. I will sing along to all of them.
The music is great, and it was also like their practice run for Book of Mormon, I
Oh,
feel.
Book of Mormon is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the success of the music in here is what led them gently to nudge them towards the Broadway stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could do this. We can go to Broadway. I love Book of Mormon. Book of Mormon is great.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk
No,
about
no.
punching down.
Right. So I think that like one of the most funny insults, and this isn't like anything that's even offensive, I just think it's like adorable that they made Canadians the villains in this film, which are kind of like the nicest people ever, which is the joke. And the fact that calling them floppy heads is racist, I just thought was hilarious. Because we all know Canadians and their floppy heads. Have you heard that one before? I haven't.
I hadn't heard that.
Okay. I think they made that one up.
They did indeed.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. Anything else? Is there anything you'd like to say about Saddam and Satan, or?
No, I just thought that I thought Satan was a very cute and sympathetic character. I've always been a fan of Satan in
Yeah.
South Park. One
Hmm.
of my favorite episodes is when he throws a Halloween party and he dresses like the Crow because the Crow was the hot boy costume at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So I think that we've run through all of it. Have we?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
those like the main ones? Okay.
yep.
Any last words? Any last thoughts about South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut? Like in terms of, I think that you said something interesting at the beginning of the show where you were talking about like how it hit different for you this time.
Yeah, it just hit a little different for me. And I think most of it is just the fact that, listen, it's a funny movie. It's not the kind of funny where it's like, I'm going to watch this and get the deep belly laughs out of me that it used to. It's not going to do that. I'm just amused by it. But for some reason, and I don't know if this is just the South Park effect, but because it's been on for 25 years and the humor has moved the bar as to what is more offensive, like it keeps getting more and more offensive every year, and what it plays for laughs, this just doesn't make me laugh as hard as it used to
Because it's
because
not
it's
offensive enough?
correct.
That is a take.
It's just no, it's not. You can't compare to today's South Park. It's so mild.
Wow. Okay, I haven't watched enough recent South Park, I guess. But I'll take your word for it. Maybe I'll go and revisit some episodes from the past season because I only saw clips, but it looked amazing. So maybe I'll go back and see what you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I think like the humor, just because I hadn't seen it for so long, like the humor hit pretty similar to me. Like I just had a blast watching it again. And I just think it's like one of those films that thankfully, like when I was watching at home, I got to rewind and like catch all the jokes this time because it's so hard to catch every single one. They just come so fast.
Right.
But as somebody who is less into South Park than you are, it still hit for me pretty well. Like I didn't need it to be any more offensive than it was. So, and I don't even know what you're talking about. It's more offensive now. Okay. It sounds like I have to go watch an episode tonight or something, but because I have no idea how you do that, I'm intrigued. So, on to our last segment, Erin. Are you checking or cherishing?
Oh, I'm gonna cherish it.
Okay, good. It's
Yeah,
not an
I'm still gonna
enthusiastic
cherish
cherish.
it.
It's like a yeah. I'm into it, but I'm not as into it as I once was.
Yeah.
Okay, well
It's
that's
like
fair. That's fine. I mean, I cherish the hell out of this film. Like I love this
yeah.
movie.
It's like a Franklin Mint collectible, and I'm like, it's not nothing that, like, I'm super into, but you're gonna put it on a shelf. It's nice.
Oh, I'm
Like, look at
super into
that.
it. I'm
Look
gonna
at that.
like listen to the soundtrack all day. Like the next day that I'm like working from home, I'm just gonna put on the South Park soundtrack and I'm
Yeah,
just gonna sing all
it's
the
just
songs.
it's nice. It's a nice little thing.
It's great. And I think that like the reason that I love it so much is because of like the larger point that it's trying to make. It is
Right.
like it is calling us all hypocrites and saying, yeah, we're going to make a movie about censorship that you absolutely think should be censored. And I just think that that's pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
And that is like just the nature of satire. It's a perfect little satirical musical, and I cherish it and I adore it. So, and I'm glad that we got to watch it again. So, thanks for watching it, Erin. Thanks for taking the suggestion and bearing through it
Yes.
again. All right. Any last words?
Nope.
All
Blame
right.
Canada.
Blame Canada. I'm super. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have to listen to it again right now. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and tune in to the next episode. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.